Welcome back, YouTube, to another Fat Guy Builds, and we're gonna do spark plugs and spark plug wires. We are doing valve cover gaskets on this 1999 Legacy Outback. I know you're sick of these videos by now, but it is what it is. Watch, enjoy, and check out all the rest of the Subaru videos down below. Step one, pop the hood. Here's the spark plugs I'm using. They're NGKs. I got these from Rock Auto. It's a lot cheaper. RC-FX50. Here are spark plugs I'm using. NGKs. They're BKR5EGP. And I got these on Rock Auto. Everything seems to be cheaper on Rock Auto. So if you can wait, just go on Rock Auto. We have 2 spark plugs on each side. And then each valve cover has 3 bolts on the bottom, 3 bolts on the top. Get under the car and use a pair of long needle nose or jam. My hand's too fat, so I'm gonna use a long bendy needle nose and just pop these spark plug wires off of each spark plug on each side. Now the spark plugs are hanging down there. You're gonna pull them out of here. What you want to do is you want to mark your spark plug wire that way, because they're probably different lengths. I don't really know quite yet, but I'm going to take a Sharpie, mark this one. It's marked on the coil. That's 3, 1, 2, 4. But I'm going to mark the wire so when I match them up to the new ones in the box, I have the correct length. To get the tools in for the valve cover, I'm going to remove the top part of the air box here. So we're going to unplug mass airflow sensor. I'm going to undo this clamp here and undo these little pop clamps here, and then pull this whole section out of the car. So these wires that I bought, they're pre-numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, so you don't even have to use your brain. So there's a bolt here and a bolt there. I took those off so I could lift this up, put the spark plug wire through here. So if you're smart and you don't want to have a bunch of headaches, you'll go out and you'll buy a 90-degree power tool like this, and you'll use that to get to these bolts with a stubby short 10 mil, and they come out pretty good. So I'm gonna do the top ones on both sides first, and then I'm gonna go underneath to get the bottom ones. You have a crankcase breather that is attached to the valve cover. So there's a clamp here, just a squeezy clamp. You're going to pull this squeezy clamp up here. You're going to pull this hose off of the valve cover. On the passenger side, you have another PVC hose here that you have to take the clamp off, pull it off of the valve cover. The valve cover bolts on the driver's side suck a lot more, so you're gonna have to get fancy with how you're gonna do it. The driver's side, top, rear, you're gonna get through here, and I believe we're gonna do the same thing for the rear back one at the bottom. We're gonna do that from through here. Oil's gonna leak out of the valve cover. So what you want to do is you want to crack it, let all the oil drain into your pan, disconnect the exhaust, and you're going to start one side at a time. You're going to tilt the engine up. That gives you enough room now between the frame rail and here to clear the cam journals. Then you're going to push that sucker up, and the valve cover is currently up there. So I'm going to lower the engine back down from the jack. You can just use a normal jack if you're doing this on the floor, and jack up one side, set it back down, do the other side. There's going to be a bolt. The engine mount bolt is right here. It's going to have a nut and a washer. I'm just going to take that out, and so now I'm going to lower this side. To take the battery out, going to use a deep 10 socket here and here, and then you're going to take the terminals off and pull the battery out of the car. From here, you can get to the top left and the top center on the driver's side. On the driver's side, since I'm on a lift, we had a ladder and a buddy. Lifted it up and he pulled it out the top. So now it's time to lower the engine back down, clean up these gaskets, clean up the valve covers. I'm going to reseal these guys here. So I'm going to take those off on the bench. Going to order the correct part number for this shape of gasket. To get the spark plug on the driver's side, I jacked the shit out of the engine on the driver's side up, and then you can get it through like the battery area with the tools and a little wobbly extension and the socket. And then when you do that, that allows you, now just imagine the valve covers are here. It's the same exact steps. But on the passenger side, it's tilted down, and now you can get to it here because it's facing down under here. So you have to do a few steps. You're going to want to break it loose with just a wrench, then just have the extension and take it out by hand for this back one. For this one, it's a little easier. There's more space, so you can do it with the extension and a ratchet. Part number for the gasket, VS50672R. And you're just going to grab the little pieces and you're going to put them into the valve covers, obviously. Same spots you took them out. And the shape dictates which way it goes. So you're going to grab this guy now. And you're just going to set it in. But see how it has the fingers? So that's the wrong side. So that goes on that side. This one comes on this side, like so. And you just fit it back in where it goes. And then you can reinstall these things onto the car. So I couldn't buy the gasket that seals this guy off. So what I did was I took this all apart, cleaned it real good, and then I used some Right Stuff. And that should not leak. I also did the same thing with the filler neck and the other side. For the bolts, you just clean off the bolts, grab a new grommet, slide on the new grommet, and install them. Get them all sort of hand tight, and then torque in like a star pattern starting from the inside of the valve cover. Now that the engine's still jacked up, you're going to grab the spark plugs that say number 2 and number 4, the wires. You're going to feed them in now while you can get in here easier. And then we'll lower this side down. So this boot part of the thing is too fat to go through where it's supposed to go through. So what you do is, I'm going to feed this guy through here, but you need it to come in the middle here. So you lift up that guy like that. And so now it's in between. So you do that with both of them, and that's it. With the passenger side jacked up, put the valve cover back on, put the spark plug wires back in, and now we can lower this side, and this side is done. Now that everything else is together, we can go ahead and put the air intake and the air filter back in, as well as put the battery back in on this side.